Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Tank. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're coming back for another episode, welcome back. I am your host, Tyler Rains, and filling in for Alex Fortadall today, we have Cameron Capobianco. Cam, it's good to have you on the show. Welcome. And we have a lot to break down for this Steelheads 3-game weekend.
Yeah, a lot of games. 2 back-to-backs against, I believe back-to-back against Sudbury, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it was Thursday and Friday.
And then we had the game against, obviously, everyone's number one pick in their heads, Shane Wright, for this year's NHL draft.
And that was it. That was a game in itself. We're going to get into that for sure. So basically, again, as our usual lineup, we're going to do a game recap of the weekend. We're going to go into what our plan is for the upcoming episode also. And we have an announcement. We're going to remind everybody, just please enter the giveaway. And then, of course, we're going to do our look ahead to the next week worth of games. So, Cap, let's go over first game in Sudbury. That was the franchise record setting 11-game point streak.
I saw that, first of all, on your story. And I'm pretty sure I saw it on the Instagram on my feed too. First of all, an amazing game. I think, in my opinion, I didn't watch it because I was at work because I have a life apparently, but I was going to watch it on the stream and everything. But, just you guys even talking about it after the game really just made it seem like it was a really good game to either watch or maybe listen to.
And you did catch the highlights too. So you were able to see a little bit of how that firepower was.
There is one thing though that we will get into later, Tyler, and it's the power play for the Mississauga Steelheads.
Oh yeah, that is a big issue. It's a big issue. But
and it was shown here in this game. Sorry to interrupt. It was shown here in this game. Might as well just go into it right now. 0-3, right off. 0-3, like just to start off.
Yes.
In the first game, 0-3.
It was a pretty rough one. But you know what? Honestly, they ended up getting the end result. First period looked a little bit rough. The first 5 minutes of the game, they let in 2 goals. Dylan Robinson and Chase Stillman. Quentin Musty getting an assist on the Robinson goal, which was the opening one for the game. Then they would score 4 unanswered goals going into the first, tying it up, or going into the second period. Sorry, tying it up late in the third or in the first. Jeez, I'm all over the place today. Tying it up late in the first, Ethan Del Mastro and Zach Lavla scored his 3rd of the year. Going into the second, they would score 2 more, James Hardy and Zach Lavla. Jack Thompson gets one back for the Wolves. And, of course, Kai Schwint seals the game with the insurance marker. And that one would end 5-3, setting effectively.
Before we go into the next game, which was I believe it was in Sudbury.
Yes.
Can we just admire that the commentator thought Zachary Lavoie scored the first goal for the Steelheads when really, in reality, like you said, it was Ethan Del Mastro?
He wasn't even on the ice. He wasn't even on the ice for that.
He wasn't even on the ice. And this guy actually said Lavoie will get this credited goal. And I'm like, that's a 7, not a 2, number 1.
It's easy to mix them up, I guess, when you're sitting that far up. But no, that was, yeah. So for anybody who did see that was Ethan Del Mastro's goal. It wasn't Zach Lavoie.
I mean, he did get one later, so
he got 2 later, exactly. But just in case you thought Lavoie got a hat trick, no, that was Del Mastro's goal. But that game would set the franchise record 11-game point streak, which would be, it's fitting that it was against Sudbury because everybody's just like, oh, they set a franchise record. Are they going to keep going? No.
And who did you guys play again that you lost to?
They lost to Sudbury the next night, 2-1. Was a really close game. Chase Stillman got one in the first. Remained 1-0 for most of the game. Second period, Zach Lavla ties it up. And, of course, then after that, last goal of the game, Landon McCallum gets one on the power play. And that was effectively the end of the game. That's how that game went. 2-1 Sudbury. There's nothing you can really say about that. Both teams played well. It was a back-to-back. You win some, you lose some.
There's something bad about it, in my opinion.
It just sucks because they were on a roll. They were on the best 11 games that they've ever had. And then, it was one lousy power play. Well, I should say one lousy penalty kill that gave up that point streak, basically.
Well, you know what, Tyler? All good things. It's an old saying in life too. All good things come to an end in a way. But in this case, I wouldn't say technically it should be something that people are ashamed of. I think that
Oh,
when we get
yeah,
into the
like-
next game too, you just see that even though this point streak is over, there's still more room for the Mississauga Steelheads to get back into the win column and that stuff.
Easily. Exactly. And I mean, I think you really need to look at how they've been performing up to that point, and you can't be disappointed in this team. You can be disappointed in the loss. Sure, it wasn't the ideal way, but you know, they played well. They played well throughout that
Absolutely.
game. It was just that one unfortunate power play chance for Sudbury, and they got through. This game, on the other hand, stop giving us false hope. Kingston rolls into town. It's Sunday. Okay. You know, it's a snowy day outside. A lot of people go to the game. We had about 22,000, or no, not 20. No, I'm over exaggerating. 2,200, excuse me. And that was just an amazing game.
You probably wish it was 22,000 with Shane Wright in town.
I wish it was 22,000. That would have been nice.
That would have
been. It was like about 2,200 people there. This game got away from the Steelheads very quickly. Opening power play was about 1 minute and 53 seconds into the first period. Luca Del Belbalou scored, by the way. I called that on their Instagram. I said that he was going to score first. He scored his 11th of the season, 1 minute and 53 seconds into the game. Most of the first period, that would be 1-0 for the Steelheads, and then this is where they let it get away from them. Took a bad penalty. Lucas Perrick scores, and then they would score with that goal, technically 4 unanswered goals in the first period. So it's 4-1 for Kingston in the first. Cap, we were talking to JR. Alex and I were talking to JR last night when we did our post-game stuff. He said the one thing that they try not to do was let goals in from the blue line. Those 4 goals in the first period were goals from the blue line. So they need to work on that, because that's, you know, going to end up coming back and biting them in the butt. So, you know, they kind of have to fix that. But, you know, for the most part, those goals were just like, it got away from them in the first period.
Well, then don't forget when it started in the second period, momentum was starting to come back in a way, Reigns. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, no, yeah. It got much better, because they just completely pulled a 180. I find it kind of funny. 420 into the second period. Nice. Owen Beck scores his 7th of the year. It's 4-2.
Can we just, before we go on,
yeah.
Of course, you're the one who makes the joke about it being 420. Just like, oh yeah, 420. Yeah, he scores at 420.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just find that like kind of a weird coincidence. But yeah, so it's 4-2. And at that point, I decided that I wanted to go and get some food. So, you know, we came back as soon as Beck scored. So it was 4-2. And then a couple minutes later, Ole Bjorkvik-Holm gets it to 4-3. Zach Lavla and Casper Larsson drawing the assist on that one. And I just want to point out, Casper Larsson is an amazing defenseman. He's got 12 assists. He's still waiting for his first goal. Any game now. As I said to Alex before with Zach Lavla, any game now. And once he does, he's not going to stop scoring. Then, of course, not 5 minutes later, guess who? James Hardy ties the game. It's 4-4. Okay. And you know what? You're just thinking like, oh, you know, they're going to come back and win this game. And I'm just like, I said to Alex at one point, I'm just like, no, they have to win this game now.
Shane Wright's going to score, which did not happen.
No, thank God it didn't. And I'm just thinking to myself, no, they have to come back and win now. They fought all the way back from being down 4-1. They have to come back and win. So, of course, third period, nobody scores until the heartbreaking goal happens. Francesco Arcuri. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left in the game. And that's going to do it.
And that's what kills.
It was the heartbreaker. We kept Shane Wright off the board. He had 2 penalty minutes in that game. No points. Kept him off the board, but just couldn't end up getting the win. It was just that last little mistake in the third period that cost them the game. They could have got a point if they went to overtime, but you know, unfortunately, we can't get a point every single game. So they ended up going 1-2 on the weekend, but they've got a 3-3 coming up, which we're going to go over. Cap, standout players of the weekend. Who do you think made an impact? Who stood out for you? What do you think?
Well, I think the obvious option here for me is definitely going to be James Hardy, number one, because one, he had his first, well, he's at number 14 on the year already. So he's been getting a lot of chances in that stuff to score, and he's been capitalizing on those, already at 14 goals. I think he's going to continue to go, man, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, he's been scoring a lot, but I think that, like, you know, a lot of people underestimated him. I think in the first 2 years that he was eligible to get drafted, I'm surprised that he didn't, especially, you know, almost getting 40 goals in his 1920 season. But, you know, he's going to end up at the end of the year. He's on pace for 50 goals.
I just want to add something too, to
Yes.
my reason why I think James Hardy stood out to me too. He didn't just, in a way, just get on the score sheet by scoring. He was on there by assists as well. He helps out and plays as well.
And that's what I like about James Hardy, is the fact that not only is he a solid goal scorer, he's a good playmaker. You know, he can set up plays from basically anywhere on the ice, anywhere on that forward zone in the ice. And I think that him, Del Belbaluz, and Collins really work well together. I think that we were talking about that last episode, saying that was a master plan, putting those three together. So
Right.
looking at how well those guys play, I think that a big part of that's the chemistry. And, you know, I'd say that, you know, another standout player that I was really looking at was Owen Beck. He seems to look out of the entire crop of rookies. You know, Vecchia, Lavla, Beck, Casper Larson. I mean, you could technically count him as a rookie. I think that Beck looks the most comfortable, and I think that he's gotten used to playing so quickly. And, you know, he's already got 7 goals in his first 18 games. Like, if you look at that, he's third in scoring on the team. Third. And you'd expect that from, you know, a guy who has been playing there for a couple of years, but he's really adapted quite quickly, and it's a pleasant surprise. So another one, Zach Lavla. You know, he was snake bitten to start the season. You know, we were talking to JR, and by the way, you can go and take a look at Alex in our post-game interviews that we did last night. Those are also on our YouTube channel. JR said that he came into camp, he was a little bit overconfident, but now I think he's starting to find that, you know, he's more comfortable getting into the swing of things and finally getting his groove back. So it's a very pleasant surprise to see.
Which is always nice to see too. I mean, you can go into camps overconfident and that stuff, but one thing I always like, even when I used to coach, when I used to do, I don't know if it's a different sport, but baseball, I used to have kids who were overconfident saying, oh, I'm going to be the best player on the team. I'm going to carry this team for wins and that stuff. I always say, just settle in and relax, because it's a team sport. There's no one-man team, in my opinion.
Exactly. There's no I in team.
Yeah, it's that same. There's no I in team.
There is in win.
There is in win. There's also an 11-point streak game.
Exactly. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, overconfidence sometimes can be your downfall. But I think that we're starting to see that, you know, he's being confident in himself, but he's losing that kind of overconfidence. He doesn't, you know, completely just say, oh, I'm going to score 50 goals in my rookie season, and that's going to be the end of it. You know what I mean? He knows what his goals are, realistic expectations. And I think that that's, you know, something that a lot of people do from time to time. It's not a bad thing, but sometimes, you know, you just got to look at it and say, hey, you know, as soon as I'm comfortable doing this, I think that I'll have a better chance at, you know, setting a realistic goal. So I'm glad to see that Zach Lavla is finally getting into the swing of things and getting more comfortable. And, you know, this team is looking very good. You know, most of the games during the season, they've only lost by 1 goal.
And that's why I'm saying that, like I said earlier, there's more room for more points to come in for wins.
Exactly.
They're keeping their games close, which is awesome to see. You don't see that a lot. Some teams, even at the pro level, at the NHL level, are getting blown out. Let's say, you know, as Leaf fans, we've seen the 7-1 deficit.
Yes.
We've seen it. We've seen the big blowouts and everything. But this team is keeping it close, which is something you hardly see. Like I said, if they can keep it close, there's room for wins, there's room for comebacks, and they can get in the win column more and more.
I agree. And you know what? Honestly, we'll probably get to see the next few games. We've got a 3-3 coming up. We are going to look ahead after our little thing here. And Cap, it's going to be a busy weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend upcoming for the Steelheads. They've got a game on Friday, a game on Saturday, and a game on Sunday. and it's going to be a very kind of tough one. So first, Cap, it's time to talk about our brilliant sponsor for today's podcast, and that is CW Sports Memorabilia. You're a big baseball fan, right?
Yes, I am, as a matter of fact.
Who's your favorite player?
That would probably be Josh Donaldson, probably.
Josh Donaldson, right?
Yep.
What if I told you that CW Sports Memorabilia has anything from signed bats to hockey sticks to baseballs, even custom autographed paintings from your favorite athletes, such as Josh Donaldson, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Nathan Bastian, you name it, they've got it. What would you say if I told you that that was real?
I'd be like, where's my wallet? Because I'm going to buy.
Well, luckily, Cap, I'll tell you this, it is real. And you can go and check out CW Sports Memorabilia. We will link down below in the description. He's got so many cool things. Anything from, like I said, to baseballs, bats, hockey sticks, paintings, even goalie masks. You name it, they've got it. And you know what the best part is, Cap?
What is that, Tyler?
If you message Charles and use code PROSHOT, you can save 10% off your first order with CW Sports Memorabilia.
Oh, my God.
How's that for good?
That's really good. I might use that right now.
There you go. So definitely go and check out CW Sports Memorabilia in the comments section. We will link to their Facebook page down below. And you should definitely go and check out all of the awesome and very cool stuff that they have. Cap, let's look ahead into this upcoming week. They've got a 3-3. They're at home to face Ottawa on Friday night, in Peterborough on Saturday, and of course the Oshawa Generals are coming on Sunday afternoon.
Well, one thing I just want to say, Reigns, and we could look at it from these past games that were just played for the Mississauga Steelheads, the power play has to improve.
I agree. And I think you and I were going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah, they have to improve on the power play. Their penalty kill is literally second to none. It's second in the league.
It's second in the league.
Perfect.
But the power play,
it's awesome.
Is dead last.
Power play is dead last. Now, I know that yesterday they were playing they usually go 3 forwards and 2 defensemen, standard power play practice. But yesterday they rolled with 4 forwards and a defenseman on the power play. So they're starting to change it up a little bit, but it has to change because if you have so many power play chances, then you need to start capitalizing on those opportunities, because I feel that if you have like, let's say 4 power plays in a game and you go 0 for 4, don't even generate a scoring chance on that one. It's not going to help you in any way when it comes to later on in the season and, getting closer to the playoffs.
I just want to bring this up from these past 3 games, Reigns.
Yeah, go ahead.
They went 1 for 12. 1 for 12 on the power play.
Oh boy.
And you know when that one power play came?
What's up?
That was when they played Kingston last night.
That's right.
Yesterday,
and it was Luca Del Belbaluz on the power play.
Exactly. We just mentioned that name too. It was that goal against Kingston thanks to Luca Del Belbaluz.
So yeah, they definitely need to work on the power play. And Cap, I know that a team like Oshawa, they are a good power play team. They're like I think a top 5 power play in the league against a top 2 penalty kill. That's fine. But when you go up against a team like Peterborough, who, by the way, they take a lot of penalties, you're going to want to capitalize on those chances, because if you can get a lead early, protect that lead so you're not having to worry about it later on in the game.
The power play is honestly your best friend in a hockey game, in my opinion. It's your best friend.
And when
you
you
have that advantage.
And when you're not scoring 5-on-5, it's even better. You know what I mean? And
it's like, how do I put it? If you can't score 5-on-5, you have that advantage with that last man. Most people, there are ways to score 5-on-5. Everybody can find a way to score on a 5-on-5. When we have that one advantage where it's a 5-on-4 or even a 5-on-3 somehow, you need to start capitalizing on those plays. Like you can go, I'll take 1 for 4, to be honest, in one game. Go 1 for 4 in 3 games, 1 for 4 in your Friday night game, 1 for 4 in your Saturday night, 1 for 4 in your Sunday night. I'm fine with that. 3 for 12. You're starting to show that improvement. But try and at least get good shot momentum, because shots, Reigns, as you know too, are also a best friend for you, because they start going into the net if you can start locating them better.
Exactly. I mean, it's all about your shot attempts, right? Because if you have good shots on goal and you're getting those awesome scoring chances that you need to have, let's say that a lot of those scoring chances come from like the blue line. Or, you're getting shots on goal, but you're not necessarily getting scoring chances because the goalies are just red hot and on fire. That's a different story. But with this, you don't really see a whole lot of shots on the power play either. They're mostly passing. You'll see, like, typically in the OHL, you'll see about like 3 to 4 shots on the power play for a typical team. For the Steelheads, you're looking at probably 1 to 2. And that's what I've seen for the past 3 games anyway. So they definitely need to work on scoring chances on the power play. But other than that, I think they've been good. They've been amazing 5-on-5. Their penalty kill is personally the best I've seen in the league so far. And their goaltending is stellar. They've got 2 amazing goaltenders in Roman Basserin and Joe Ranger. So I don't think that their goaltending is an issue. I don't think that, their defense is an issue. I think that they lack a little bit of depth. But, their power play is one of the only things that I find wrong with this team.
Yep. No, it's honestly everything else, like you said, is fine. Everything's perfectly fine. But it's that power play that's killing them. If they can get more chances and maybe scoring opportunities on the power play to capitalize, they'll be one of the, in my opinion, the best teams in the OHL.
Easily. And I mean, they're 3rd in the Eastern Conference right now. They're a point behind Hamilton, 4 points behind North Bay for first place. That's how tight this conference race is. And they've shown this year that they can do it. Like, they're good enough to do this, but they have to be able to convert on the power play because it's only going to help them get better. Now, let's talk a little bit about the game against Ottawa on Friday night. So, obviously, we've seen the last couple of times that they faced the 67s, it's been a win. The last 2 times I can think of off the top of my head was the home opener. It was a 6-3 win. And, of course, the game on, I believe it was on Sportsnet or on CBC, there was a 2-0 shutout win for Joe Ranger against, his basically hometown OHL team. So they've managed to get the wins. They know how to crack them. Dave Cameron, his 67s team this year has not been the best. So I think that, if they keep that puck management in check and they, stick to playing their game, I don't think you need to really worry about the power play against Ottawa unless it comes to it. But they're very good against the 67s 5-on-5. So I think that, the more that you take those chances, the better.
And we can look ahead to Peterborough,
which Mason McTavish just came back from the Anaheim Ducks. So that's lovely.
That is lovely.
You'd expect him to get a goal on Saturday.
Rains, like you were mentioning too, you said Peterborough takes a lot of penalties.
That they are, yes. They take I think 3rd or 4th most penalties in the league this year so far.
And if you look at it, these good times, I think, in my opinion, to start capitalizing on that power play.
Yes, I agree.
This is the good momentum swing.
And again, the more that you capitalize, we're going to keep saying it. The more that you capitalize on the power play, the better, because it'll only help you out. Like there's no.
I just want to say this right now.
When it comes to the power play,
I just want to say this right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
We should get a shirt, pro shot, just a quote saying "capitalize on the power play." And the
power play is your best friend.
We could just say power play is your best friend. Tyler Raines and Cameron Capobianco quoted that.
Exactly, yeah. And then so I mean, you look at Peterborough, they're 4-5-1 in their last 10. So they're on a 3-game winning streak, right? But before that, they were 1-5-1. Not the best.
Not the best.
If you can take advantage of that game, get control early, shut down guys like Mason McTavish and Tucker Robertson, then you've got this game. I think that, it's just as simple as that. It's easier said than done, but, a team like Peterborough, they're somewhat easier to shut down than a team like Kingston because, they don't have as many superstars, and 2, their goaltending depth isn't as good as previous years. So I think that's the key to the game is just, focus on your power play, puck control, make sure that you're just not giving any of them time. And I think that's good. This is the game that I'm worried about. Sunday, the Oshawa Generals. Callum, Richie, the first overall pick in the OHL draft this past year, is coming to town for the first time. Oshawa has been good. They haven't been stellar, but they've been good. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. They've been all right, but Richie, I think, is leading the league in goals right now. There's no wonder that this kid is so good. we've talked about him time and time again about how you need to stop him. You need to just not let him have time. I think the key to the game on Sunday is just play solid defense, because as they have been, it's going to be easier to shut down guys like Richie if you just play solid defense. Don't worry about, outscoring them 15-1. Just, play your game, play solid defense. That's the key to victory. Do you have anything else to add for any of the games there, Cap?
I think Reigns, honestly, you took the words right out of my mouth. Honestly, other than the Peterborough game where they need to start again capitalizing on the power play. But no, the shutdown defense against Oshawa is probably going to be the most key game to stop guys like Callum Richie. And actually, speaking of Callum Richie, I've been talking with one of his best friends, which is Mason Zabeski, one of your picks in the past OHL draft.
Yes.
And what he told me, hold on, I'm just trying to pull up the thing that he told me. And this might be good for you guys for maybe next season if he does get called up to the OHL and does start playing for the Mississauga Steelheads. So he said to me about his transition to junior hockey was to play his own game. And what he meant by that was he likes being physical and making plays that aren't always on the score sheet. This is him right now in the Oakville Blades campaign in the Ontario Junior Hockey League. But to be physical and to really kind of not get on the score sheet by just scoring or getting, in hockey terms, an apple, it's to get physical. He likes to get involved in the play wherever it is. So let's say he's a left winger, plays on the right wing, he'll be at that right wing. So you better be prepared.
Yeah, he's almost like a Richard Whittaker type.
I was going to say, too, also, he was kind of like a Nazem Kadri in a way, in my opinion. I could see a little bit of that at the NHL level.
I definitely see that in him. And I think that, they're definitely going to want to focus on how he plays, not just this season. I think when he comes up, whenever that may be, hopefully next year, I think that he would be a good instrument to shut down Callum Richie. But I think for right now, they got to just focus on shutting him down.
Yeah.
Find a way to keep him off the score sheet, and to just, as they did with Shane Wright, just keep him off the score sheet.
Yeah, if you could do that with Shane Wright, you can definitely, there's no question about it, you can definitely do it with Callum Richie.
Easily. But I think it'll be interesting coming up. We've got a 3-3 coming up again. Look out for some post-game interviews on Friday night. We're likely going to be doing some there. So we'll be able to just recap the 67s game, look ahead into the game on Saturday, and of course, we'll be back at it on Sunday against Oshawa. It's going to be a really fun one. And let's hope that they can get 6 points, because 6 out of 6 would be nice.
Hey, another point streak, maybe we could break it this time.
There we go. And so once again, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification for all new content that comes out on our YouTube channel, and follow our social medias down below. Thank you once again for watching. I have been Tyler Rains along with Cameron Capobianco, and we'll see you next time.
Be good people.